I'll call our meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first up, we have recognitions.
Hello. Good evening. So this month our portrait of graduate characteristic was confidence. So we have Jackson Wilson as Tiger Paws representative for confidence. And I have his teacher, Miss Maddie Neely, here to tell you why she chose him for that characteristic.
So when I had to pick somebody for confident, it actually was a really easy choice. Jackson shows up to school every day. He's excited to learn. He's ready. He's always the first one to raise his hand and ask a question or tell us how he's feeling. And Jackson truly is a kind, gentle, helpful friend to all of his classmates. But overall, if you go anywhere in Tiger Paw and you see Jackson, he really is a good representation of like what it truly means to be a tiger and what it truly means to be confident. So yeah, here's Jackson. So good job, buddy.
Good evening. I have here with me tonight Mrs. Hannah Feynman, first grade teacher, and her student Sayer Fowler. And she's going to talk a little bit about how Mr. Sayer earned our trait of being our confident student of the month at North.
So today I'm really excited to recognize Sayer, a student whose qualities truly shine. Sayer's confidence is something that stands out to everyone who works with him. He takes on challenges with such a calm and positive attitude, and it's clear that he trusts in himself. But even more impressive is how much he respects others' opinions and ideas while still remaining confident in his own. Whether it's sharing ideas in a group or jumping in to work with a classmate, he's always willing to help a friend. It's clear he not only cares about doing his best, but he also makes people around him feel important and valued. Beyond his confidence, collaboration, and care, his hard work and determination are evident every day. Sayer, it's been so amazing watching you achieve so much, and I know you're going to do incredible things.
Good evening. We are here to recognize Miss Mary Emma. She is one of our outstanding kindergartners at Ozark South. Miss Greiner is here to share a couple of words on her behalf.
Mary Emma is smart, thoughtful, and helpful. She is very confident in everything she does. She is the first one to give an idea or opinion on a topic and is courteous of others when they choose to share. Mary Emma always gives her best effort and is a leader in the classroom. She is an advocate for other students, whether it is pushing them to be their best or sticking up for them when it is needed. I can always count on Mary Emma to do the right thing, no matter who is around.
Good evening. You'll notice there's no child here with me tonight. Unfortunately, our portrait of a grad student of the month could not be here for just some reasons that, things happen. So anyways, here he is, Mr. Cooper Block. He is a first grader, and so we still want to honor him because he really deserves this award. And his teacher, Miss Jerry Wilson, is going to talk about how he is our student of the month for East Elementary.
I'm so proud to get to talk about Cooper. This was not just a me decision. This was a team decision within the building, and his name just kept coming up for confidence. Put my glasses on. Cooper displays the characteristic trait of confidence in all areas of academics. Always supporting his answers with a kind confidence and almost quiet because he's so humble about it. He is also very, very confident with his peer interactions and the kindness he displays to other children as well. And for that reason, everyone decided that Cooper should be this. The choices he makes, are always backed up with the integrity. And it takes such a confidence to do that. It's just for a little boy. I was telling Mrs. Capen, I shouldn't have. I threw a little marker in the trash and I missed it. And he said, Miss Wilson, if you're going to shoot it, you have to make it. But that was he's confident in everything he does. I love him. Thank you.
All right, I get the privilege of introducing the best dressed guy in the room tonight. This is Rusty Weatherly, and his teacher, Mrs. Woodruff, is going to share a little bit about why she chose Rusty for confidence.
All right. Rusty approaches every task with a positive attitude and a belief in himself, which has helped him tackle challenges when he faces any. He's always the first to raise his hand. He always has great answers. He always wants to put his input out there, and he's mostly right all the time. So it's so great to see him and witness like the growth he's made, and just to witness like his occasional dancing skills whenever he gets something right and he's really proud of himself. Rusty also encourages his peers to believe in themselves, and choosing Rusty was an easy choice for me to have here tonight. So he is just very great. He's very confident with himself, and I'm so proud of him.
Good evening, everyone. I have the privilege of introducing two amazing ladies to you tonight. Up first, Miss Mindy Chisholm. She is our ELA teacher from Team Explore. And she has the privilege to then introduce our Student of the Month for being confident at OMS. And this is Miss Cora White. So, Miss Chisholm.
Cora exudes confidence in all the right ways. Whether tackling a tricky math problem or leading a group project, Cora approaches challenges with a positive attitude and a can-do spirit. She is kind to classmates, always ready to lend a hand, and never boastful about her accomplishments. Cora's self-assured nature inspires peers and teachers alike, making the classroom a much brighter place, and I'm so very proud of her tonight. Thank you.
I get the privilege tonight to introduce Faith Henry. She is an 8th grader at Ozark Junior High on Team Asia. Got it right? Team Asia? Awesome. So as you can see, your teachers had a lot of great things to say about you. Dr. Suter, who couldn't be here tonight, put together a little summary for me to read. And what she had to say was that Faith's an incredible student who shines in so many ways. Whether it's English class and she's leading group work, she's encouraging always her classmates to do their best. In science, her kindness and confidence shine. She's an incredible teammate who works well with anyone. When it comes to math, she's not afraid to ask those hard questions that invoke thoughtful and deeper levels of learning. And to further show her confidence, during advisory, she led the classroom door decorating project, getting her classmates involved to bring about a creative vision to life. Your quiet confidence and positive attitude make you a role model for those around you. Thank you for representing yourself, your family, and for making a great impact on Ozark Junior High. We appreciate you. Great job.
The high school would like to recognize Mystique Harrington. She's unable to be here tonight. She's a very busy young lady. I want to read just a little write-up from Timmery Sorley. She's our PE department chair. Mystique Harrington is confident and comfortable in her own skin. She comes to class each day ready to work hard and sets a tone for herself and those around her. She carries herself with a confidence that many students lack and is not swayed by outside influences. Although girls' weights may have been a step outside of her comfort zone, she attacks every class with enthusiasm. And when you get the opportunity to meet this young lady, she is tiny but mighty. So maybe we'll get to introduce her sometime. Thank you.
Findlay School would like to recognize Malia Dunn as our Portrait of a Graduate this month. Malia is not with me tonight because Malia is a mother and she was called out of school today because her child was sick. What I love about Malia is that she doesn't fall into any of the high school trappings of concepts like being cool or being popular. Malia is her own individual self and represents herself with a lot of pride and a lot of grace. My favorite thing that Malia did recently to display her confidence was Finley is going to be going on a trip soon, um, a reward trip, and she was the one that we used to contact the businesses to negotiate the prices and to set up the schedule, which is something that is probably above and beyond what a 16-year-old teenage girl would want to do. So Malia Dunn is awesome, and she could not be here tonight. Thank you.
All right. I have the pleasure of giving a School Hero Award, which is a very special award, very rare award to be given out for your exceptional and courageous life-saving actions on October 11th, 2024. Ozark School District and Board of Education, thank you and present with you, Giselle Gonzalez, a plaque commemorating the event. And we do appreciate you stepping forward and saving a life.
Okay, so October 11th apparently is the date that this happened, correct? October 11th is a great day for life. That's my birthday. And life was saved. So I appreciate that greatly personally, but the whole state really thinks you are exemplary for a teacher and an educator. So we're going to give you a resolution. And if I can read this to you now, there's a lot of whereases in here, so that's a lot of fancy talk, but that also means also. So it says, whereas the members of the Missouri House of Representatives welcome with pleasure the opportunity to recognize a remarkable Missouri citizen whose efforts and accomplishments have made her a resource of inspiration to all those around her. And whereas Giselle Gonzalez, making sure I pronounce it correct, a resident of Nixa, Missouri, will be recognized for her heroic actions and that saved the life of a 2-year-old during a special celebration to be held today, January 16th, 2025 in Ozark. And whereas Giselle Gonzalez has distinguished herself as a child care teacher at Tiger Paw Early Childhood Center in Ozark, the school district, where she performed the Heimlich maneuver on a 2-year-old on October 11th, 2024. And whereas Giselle Gonzalez performed the Heimlich maneuver when she witnessed a 2-year-old choking on a biscuit. Don't eat the biscuits anymore. Yeah. Let's see here. She's choking on a biscuit for about 15 minutes before the toddler became coughing and breathing normally. And whereas Giselle Gonzalez, the ability to remain calm, which has got to be stressful, in a situation undoubtedly saved the life of a 2-year-old. And whereas it is entirely fitting and proper that this legislative body should pay tribute to Giselle Gonzalez, a remarkable individual whose heroic efforts served as an inspiration to all those around her. So there, now be it resolved that we, the entire House of Representatives in the state of Missouri, the 102nd General Assembly, join and applaud Giselle Gonzalez for her quick response to a life-threatening situation and further wish her a continued success in all future endeavors. And be it further resolved that the Chief Clerk of Missouri, the House of Representatives, be instructed to prepare this inscribed copy of the resolution for Giselle Gonzalez. And you are now officially in the record books for the state of Missouri. It will be forever known that you saved a life on October 2024.
Yeah. Mom and dad too. Yeah, mom and dad.
Hey.
Well.
Thank you.
All right, we're to informational items. We have a listing of candidates that have signed up to run for school board for the April election. Candidates include Sarah Adams Orr, Matthew Grocock, Ray Ann Wade, and Wade Wheeler. Those 4 candidates will be running for 2 spots that are going to be vacated in April. Next is introduction of our representative from Raymond James, Mr. Alan Markley.
Yeah, so last month, the board approved Raymond James as the underwriter to represent Ozark School District. And so I have Dr. Alan Markley here, who's a director for Raymond James, and he is a former superintendent of Logan Rogersville and Raytown School District. So what to do?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. From on behalf of Raymond James, appreciate, that's hard to follow, by the way. So I'll be brief, but on behalf of Raymond James, we appreciate you selecting us and showing confidence to lead you forward as Ozark. I was thinking today, I left Rogersville in 2008, but I can remember sitting in a gymnasium watching the Wildcats and the Tigers play. And I think it was 21 years tomorrow, Timmy Brown made a shot over Tyler Hansborough in the Tournament of Champions and put us in the championship game against Memphis White Station, and we almost beat them, and then lose in the first round of the districts. I don't know how that happens, but anyway, But some great times, and this is home for me. I'm from Southwest Missouri. I went to Kickapoo High School in Springfield, was born and raised here. So this is home. So it feels good to come back, and certainly feels good to help you guys as you move forward, because this is a growing community, growing school district, and we look forward to partnering as we move forward. Any questions for me? Yes, ma'am.
Tell us a little bit about how long you've been with Raymond James.
I retired in 2022 from Raytown. I was a superintendent for 21 years in the state of Missouri. Sparta, started in Sparta. It seems like Doug Hyder and all of us start at Sparta somewhere and then go out. But I was there for a few years, then up to Rogersville and retired in 22. I've been with Raymond James since. I was retired for 5 days and was able to get into the market. Now I'm on the other side of the table. I passed several bond issues, in Rogersville and Raytown over those years, and I was on the other side of the table. So now I'm on this side, so I can kind of see both perspectives, and hopefully that brings benefit to the district and all the districts that we're working with. So I'm almost 3 years. So I just said I would never take another test ever again when I finished my doctoral program, and I did this job and I had to take 4 SEC exams. So anyway, but that's okay. So we're looking forward to helping you move forward.
A lot of us come from Sparta.
What's that?
A lot of us come from Sparta.
They do. That's right. And I knew several Jenkins at Sparta. One of them ran the bank. So that's right. That's right. So very good. All right. Thank you all. Thank you.
All right. Update on district's CSIP plan.
So the CSIP that you all saw and we talked through in October, which is the cycle we typically present to you in October. We told you at the time that about the new data that we were collecting or how we were changing the data. We also told you that we would be giving it to you so you could see that. So it's the exact same strategies that you saw. We didn't change any of the strategies. We just updated the data parts so we can those are measurable data that we can see 4 times a year. So you can see data more often, but more importantly for us, it's data that we can have actionable more often on our end. And so the one-time events are the ones we took off there. So you see MAP scores 1 time a year, and they don't really, it's not a way to measure yourself. I mean, you can systemically 1 time a year, but it's not actionable data. So what we're using is data that we can keep coming back to, and it makes our CSIP a living document instead of a once a year document. Any questions?
Instead of an autopsy.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
All right. Superintendent update.
Well, at this point, and especially this early in the semester, I do not have a lot of updates right now. We are beginning the strategic planning process. So I'll be reaching out to some of you to serve on some committees over the next semester, as well as have a day of strategic planning with the board. We have been in school, how many days now? And we already missed 1 day of snow, and the teachers had a snow day also. So it's getting back into the groove and doing great things for our students. But pretty soon, well, the legislators are already in session, and I will be bringing you updates as we learn more about the bills that are being filed and how they are going through the system. So that'll be an update pretty soon.
Can I ask? Will you just tell a little bit about what you wrote in the email about strategic planning and how the 3 different committees are and kind of what the goal of that is and how to be involved and stuff?
Sure. We're actually, Dan and I are going to sit down and put together some social media blasts and a little campaign just to make sure that everybody understands what we're doing. But yes, from a strategic planning standpoint, I'm a big proponent of where do we want to be when we grow up kind of thing. Where do we want to be? What do we want to do in 5 years? Whether I'm more aspirational and instead of looking back at our data. I mean, we need to look back at our data, and make decisions based on that, but that's not all we need to do. We need to grow and to determine where we're going. So you passed and allowed for someone to come in and to facilitate the process for us. I am very grateful for that. And so she will be coming in and working with 3 different teams. Didn't want to read, but I may have to read some of this. She'll
It's
be
good
working.
information.
We're working with 3 different teams. We'll have a steering team, a strategic team, and a board team. They will each meet on individual nights or days. And the first meeting is basically the why and where do we want to go, and looking at our strengths, our opportunities, our weaknesses. And she starts to get the feel of, well, this group sees it this way, this group sees it this way. And then eventually, after a few meetings, she will mesh all of that information together and then help us determine where our gaps are in where we want to go in the future. So like I said, we have a steering team, which is is administrators. And then we have our strategic team, which will be a cross-section of people. And then we will
What
have
kind
the
of,
board.
like, you mean community members too?
Community members. I already have a list going, going to reach out to them. Had a meeting last week with our administrators. They give me some names. And so I'm going to start reaching out to them. I can tell you that there's a lot of great members of the community. And so if they don't initially, and even from the board, if you don't initially sit on the strategic team, the goal is that as we develop our goals for our next 5 years, we will then break off into subcommittees, and that's where a lot of the community members, okay, so let's say if we had one on, very general academic goal. Well, if someone was very passionate about that, then they could sit on that group to help us formulate plans for the future. And so I can see us coming out with 3 to 5 big major goals, and then taking that to the community as well as the teachers and say, hey, help us formulate our action plans for this. The timeline, it will be tight because we want to get this done by June or July. So there will be some information that will be going out next week, and then the meetings will start here pretty soon. What
Is it
other
by
questions did you
Is it
have?
by invitation only, or if
It
someone
is
was
by
interested?
it is by invitation only.
Okay.
Yes, we're at this point. Yep. Because we have to keep it at a manageable rate, manageable amount of people.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Any other questions? Next is district reports. We do appreciate staff for putting together these reports. A lot of detailed information.
I had a question. Is Dr. Chesick still here? Oh, yeah, sorry. I didn't, you're right there. You mentioned the roof at the high school in the district report. Would you help me understand why it is? You said we need to hurry up. We can't keep delaying. Will you tell me what the process is, what the timeline kind of is? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but what did you mean when you said that?
So I didn't quite use those words. So
Yeah, sorry. That was my very rough summary
That's
from
all
a
right.
long time ago reading it.
So we are finishing up South Roof. And obviously South Roof is much smaller. Through board changes and everything that happened last year and where the timeline fell, we were very late in going out to bid. And going out late to bid, a lot of companies, our big roofing companies, are already scheduled for the summer. And we ended up with a roofing company that did not have the experience that everybody else did, which kind of got us in a little bit of pride, and we know those details. But right now, we're at a point where if the board were to approve us to go out to bid on the roof, we would not receive bids until at least the February board meeting, which would be a push. It would be closer to it would have to be the March board meeting, which really limits the number of people that are out there. And just after this last round of weather, we have 2 small rooms that we are going to have to tear the floor tile out of because of the damage from the water coming in.
Because the thing has leaked like a sieve for several years now.
We replaced a portion of it, but there's more portions to replace. Yes.
Yes, thank you for being more diplomatic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, and
So why aren't we going out for bid now? I don't understand what the delays were last year. You said with the board turnover and different.
No, it
things.
was.
So why can't we go for bid right now? I mean,
Because the board we presented those in November and we didn't get direction from the board as of yet to go to bid on the roof or the other projects that were listed.
what does it take to give you direction for that?
Yeah,
So I moved 3 months ago. I moved that 3 months ago, you go get bids. I mean, I'm being silly, but I'm saying if possible, could you go back in time, please, and start? I mean,
Because when we were talking about, I'm sorry, I'm going to apologize for that because when we were putting that on hold, I thought it was because we wanted to have some conversations about putting those in order that we needed, things that needed to be done. I did not realize there was something at that moment that needed to be done.
yeah. So
I didn't realize that we could, that you were ready for that. I'm sorry too.
we Esterly Snyder was ready, and we've held them off to go out to bid.
If that ever happens again, would you come to, or tell your successor, come tell us right away, hey, we wanted you to do this. We need your help with, I mean, please.
But I don't think a
Important.
decision that day was made on how to spend that money.
It was
It
not.
wasn't.
It was not.
In October, no.
So when we were tabling it, I thought we were all going to get some information and be brought back to us. I did not realize.
yeah.
I apologize at that time. I
Yeah.
didn't realize there was something. And did anybody
I
else?
think it
realize?
was agreed upon, like we know the roof it was the rest. So I think
Yeah.
everybody's on board with.
The other projects.
I thought that too. And then when I walked away from that meeting, I didn't get that feeling.
I'm thinking that, too. I thought we agreed to the
Mm-mm.
roof, but everything else we were going to have to decide.
We
'cause
didn't ever vote on anything that
but
day.
I don't think we did.
So what do you need now from us to,
Yeah.
start executing?
That's right.
I just, if I have a directive, a direction that we are in agreement to release Esterly Snyder to go out to bid for the roof using bond proceeds to pay for that.
I move, Dr. Chesick, that you go and release them to go get bids to get that roof taken care of. Would somebody
do-
please second that?
Do we need
That just gathers information for us to talk
is there
about.
an estimate before this, or is this to go out and get estimates, or how does that work?
So the estimate, and I don't have it in front of me, but
Yeah.
that was the estimate that was presented in.
Okay.
And it was
and-
in two parts,
And,
I remember.
and the two parts would be that if we went out to bid, there would be an approximate 10% reduction in the overall cost to do it at one time.
Right. So, I mean, from what you were saying a few minutes ago to Christina, if we're to do this now, are you saying that we're gonna have a poor pool of?
We
contractors?
we didn't go out last year until after the board election. So it was,
So April, May.
so we will, I'm confident in Esterly Snyder that they can, if released, they will go out to the major players, the ones that have done a large portion of our roofs and surrounding roofs. And they will, this project is ready to go, and that will get us in the list. But if we wait
in the
much
summer.
longer,
Do we need,
Start of the summer.
do we need to designate at this time how we're going to pay for it? Because there was some discussion on, or debate on how it was going to be paid for.
so the answer to that's no. You wouldn't have to say bond, but if we're gonna go out to do this, that would, I'm saying that in my mind, and Dr. Wilson has always asked the Kurt question of how we're gonna pay for it. That's the question that I want to know is how we're gonna pay for it, but
We're just gathering information right now, right?
we can go out to bid. We'll go out to bid.
It doesn't matter. It's not, I mean, it's not optional. It's going to have to be done. So I
Yeah.
would say.
And the goal was when we came back in February 6th, that decision was going to be made.
Right.
What's that?
If we meet as a work session on February 6th, where we had strategic planning that morning, and then we would finish up with, because I think some of you had asked for additional numbers and we looked at some ranking to bring that back to you to have this conversation on how to finance if we were going to use the rest of the bond. But that's in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We can go ahead and start the bidding process.
Yeah. I already
Does
did.
does
Let's
Esterly
start.
Snyder need to be the only one to bring us bids? Or can we give that opportunity to other people?
So Esterly Snyder is the one that goes out and receives the bids, but they publicize it just as if it was a CMAR. It goes out in all the journals and published as required by law.
They don't sort out the bids, right? They bring you all the bids.
I'm at the bid openings. I'm present with, actually, the bids are delivered to me. And we're present at the bid opening where we accept the lowest qualified bid.
I thought it was do the roof and then we're gonna look at all the
Yes,
priorities.
me too.
That is not
Me too.
how, when I walked away, that I interpreted that.
No,
So
we're not
that's,
blaming you.
no, that's okay.
We
Yeah,
just don't.
yeah.
I believe there's a motion on the table to proceed with getting bids.
I'll second.
All in favor? Unanimously approved. Thank you.
Hey, good question, Christina.
It's not gonna be, it'll be fine.
Okay. Moving on to future dates. Next board meeting would be February 20th, 2025. There's several other dates on here for us to pay attention to and be aware of, but
Are you gonna mention the all day one in early February, February 6th, I think?
That is when I had sent an email. That's the date that I gave you for potential work session, but we may have to look at another date for Mark to see. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sometime coming up soon.
Yes,
There's gonna be
everything.
an all day
Yeah.
work session.
Yeah.
Okay.
we'll announce that and get it publicized. I've got conflict. Okay, next up is public comment. We have one signed up, Mr. William Downey.
I'd like to address the meetings from the December, the minutes from the December meeting, December 19th, about, before they're accepted, about Guy Calloway, and make some comments on that, and his resignation. I knew Guy Calloway pretty good. We talked quite a few times, and I consider him kind of a friend. But
Excuse me, is this about the minutes or is this about his resignation?
Excuse me?
Is this about about the minutes or about his resignation?
Well, it's about the minutes concerning Guy Calloway comments in the minutes.
Is there a correction you would like to?
Yeah, I'd like to make some, add some information that is different from what's in the minutes.
Okay.
Okay. And what we've learned since December 19th is that last April, he went to the county to get a waiver on his taxes because he was moving and his new address was in Gulf Shores, Florida. Also, we know of a few texts that were sent. We don't have the text, but informing people that he was moving. He didn't give a date, but he was moving. In September, when he listed his house for sale, he could have said something to the board. Hey, my house is for sale. Let's move on because the election's coming. We could put somebody else in the slot there and have a nice election. October 24th, the board meeting, a week before he sold his house, he could have said to the rest of you guys, hey, next week I'm closing on my house. But he didn't do that. On October 30th, they had a work session. He could have said, hey, tomorrow I'm closing on my house. You're gonna have to find somebody else to fill my slot. He didn't do that. December 19th, it could have been fixed. Whether Guy did this intentionally or not, I don't know. I don't know his intentions, but unintentionally or not, he defrauded the voters of the Ozark School District in denying them an opportunity to vote to replace the board member slot. This could have been fixed in December by you guys. You did what was legal, maybe, but you didn't do what was moral. And the net result is the voters of the Ozark School District is being defrauded of a chance to vote for a new school board member. Thank you.
Can I say something?
Sure.
You referenced an April 2024 personal property waiver or something like that, but I've never seen anything like this. I have a copy of his paid personal property taxes for the entire year. I've got a copy of his paid homeowners taxes from 2024. So he was surely a resident. He voted in November, so I'm not sure how he's not a resident through the whole year. So he was a realtor and he buys and sells houses. I'm not sure how being a homeowner or not being a homeowner dictates whether you're a resident or not. There's residents in this town who are not homeowners. To clarify the issue about the Missouri statutes, we actually have to follow the law here. And those laws are the Missouri statutes that govern the election. So for those who are kind of confused about this, we actually have the Missouri statute. If you want to take notes, it's section 115.127 and 125.5. And it specifically says, the political subdivision or special district calling election shall before the 17th Tuesday prior to any election at which offices are to be fulfilled, notify the general public of the opening filing date, the offices or offices to be filled, the proper place for filing, and the closing filing date of the election. Now that's a little confusing. So the election, the 17 Tuesdays comes out to be April or December 10th. So from the April election, it's 17 Tuesdays prior to that, which means that we had to have the notice out before that. We couldn't legally do that. If we were to put Guy's spot on the election in April, we would be violating these statutes. So there's no choice. We had no choice here. If you want to go a little bit further, it actually is in Missouri Revised Statute, section 162.261, it says that if a vacancy occurs on the board, the remaining board members of the board shall appoint a person to serve until the next election. That's the law. We have to follow the law here. We'd love to change anything, but unfortunately, those are the rules we abide by. We're not deciding this by our opinions or anything else or morality. It's simply the law.
Thank you, James.
May I respond to that too?
Sure.
I don't want to call into question anything that a particular person did or didn't do, because like Mr. Downey said, we don't know his motives. But what we do need to look at is going forward, what the process is for filling that vacancy. And yes, there are statutes laying out, delineating when the filing period needs to be open for a regular election. But, and I'm not finished researching this, so I'm only beginning to research this. There are other ones that lay out the
Copy here if
process.
you want it.
What?
I've got a copy here if you want to use it, want to see it.
Thanks, that's okay. There are other statutes laying out the process for special elections that can happen on the very same ballot as the municipal election. And it has happened in the past. I've been talking to different election authorities about this. It has happened in the past, and you need a shorter period of time, only 6 weeks, to have room to file for a special election. And it wouldn't cost the county any extra money. It could still be on the same ballot. So I'm looking into that, but I would like to say that there are other options available to us that we need to consider and evaluate. Our legal counsel has advised us one of those options. And as many of us have recognized, sometimes we don't get the full picture from that legal counsel, and it behooves us to ask around, get second opinions, just like you would go to a doctor and then you would go to another doctor for a second opinion. It behooves us to do some research to find out, because we are supposed to be the community's representatives. And the community picks their representatives at the election booth. So even if we appoint someone only until April, that would fit the rest of the statutes that say until the next school board election.
I've had an inquiry to our attorney, and she has responded back that there are other statutes that apply to municipal elections, but because there are specific school board statutes, they trump any other municipal type statutes out there. And there are no other options for us other than the options that we are pursuing.
And that might be the case, but I recommend that we all investigate that to find out.
We
for
have
ourselves.
investigated through our attorney. If we do not take our attorney's advice, we would be creating legal suicide.
That's true. And that.
We already
person
have a
might be
process
appointed
started.
Until April of 25 or until April of 26. All I'm saying is we need to research it for ourselves.
I've researched quite a bit, and this is the law. Man, I'm no attorney, I'm no lawyer, but I know a little bit about the law. It's not that difficult to read it and understand it. There's no second guessing this year. It's the fact.
That is at least part of the fact.
That is the fact. You can try to make things up, but you can't change what the statute says.
Now, James, I'm sure you didn't mean to be offensive when you said you could try to make things up. No one's making anything up. None of the citizens in the community, not our state representative, not me, no one is making things up. We are all reading English and interpreting it.
Okay. Moving on.
I would love to hear what he has to say.
I can't afford them. Was that I can answer this question.
I appreciate your willingness to talk right now, Mr. Gregg. We'll continue on with our board meeting. Next up is our consent agenda.
I believe that I was letter I. Oh, no, I'm wrong. That wasn't for November. We wanted to pull off November and October. December can go. I'm sorry. I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? I abstain from this motion due to my brother being listed on one of the items. New business. District calendar for 2025-2026 school year.
Dan, would you mind clicking on that calendar, please? Thank you. What you guys have before you is a proposed 25-26 district calendar for this year. What you see here are the days in yellow are our instructional days. Our orange days are our staff professional development days, PLC days where students are not on campus. The blue days represent days that we're off school, whether it be for vacation, or for Christmas, for holidays, Thanksgiving, whatnot. You see the purple boxes there indicate your first and last day of school. And then you've got a couple of hot pink boxes in there that stand out to represent your end of quarter, end of semester. There is one change for this coming year after meeting as a calendar committee, getting input from our directors, meeting with our nutrition services director, meeting with transportation, with maintenance, custodial and technology, sitting down, talking with them, meeting with our calendar committee, which is comprised of your teachers, as well as members from the buildings, as well as your principals, sitting down, talking to them and setting out parameters. Basically, hey, we've got to have 182 contracted days for teachers. And also, it would be nice of us to take advantage of what's laid out in Senate Bill 727, which was if we can go 169 days, then there's an opportunity for us as a district in the next fiscal year to get up to 1% entitlement of our state entitlement back to use towards teacher salaries. So looking at that, looking at how our calendar is set up this year, we didn't see a way with Monday PLC meetings every month of being able to meet that 169 days. So as a committee, we sat down, tried to gather a lot of feedback from teachers. And so what we're looking at is having going back to early out Fridays. So early release Fridays for our students gives us 1 additional hour for our staff. They do not leave early. They stay that additional hour every Friday to have those timely PLC meetings. So instead of those meetings being once a month, they're able to have them, once a week and able to address those student concerns immediately rather than having to wait 3 weeks to be able to get together as a team to solve that. Also, too, that gives you time each week to set aside as a team to meet with parents should that need arise. So it just gives our teachers a little bit more flexibility. We didn't want to abandon those PLC days because there's a benefit. We're doing those once a quarter, those PLC days for teachers. That's going to afford our buildings the opportunity to have that professional development, which will help lead to teacher retention. And I think a big thing too, when we met with PTA to get PTA's input on it, they had shared that, hey, those Monday PLC days are hard for our high school kids, especially those that are dual enrolled, which when you look at the year, we've got anywhere from 130 to 180 kids that are in dual enrollment. That's somebody that a family may rely on to supervise their kids, their siblings, if mom and dad are having to work, or if parents are wanting to get out of town for a 3-day weekend, they're not able to go as a family. So looking at the feedback from PTA, which is representation of our community, getting their input, we moved those days to Fridays, with the exception of January 5th. OTC is not in class that day, and that's the day that we come back after Christmas break. So this schedule or this calendar was put together. It was a collaborative effort. I'm really proud of this. It's something that we've put a lot of time into. We've got a lot of input on. We put 2 calendars together, sent it to MSTA, which was also involved in the process. And MSTA sent it out to vote. And this is a calendar. It was calendar B. It was the B option. It garnered 60% of the vote. There was about 400 votes, which is about twice as many as there was last year. So just again, I'm real proud of just how many people were involved in this process. And we finally have something that I think is representative of and here to meet our needs of our kids.
I appreciate that. And I really appreciate you looking at the OTC calendar. That is very hard for those students. So great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for getting such involvement and engagement in that.
Thank you. So I just make a recommendation that you guys approve it.
Motion to approve the calendar.
I'll make a motion to approve the
I'll
calendar.
second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the calendar. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I would run and sit back down, but I got a couple more things. So I'll just hang out up here.
Next up is MSBA policy GBEBB-2, employee alcohol and drug testing.
So this is a policy that we've had a second reading on, and then after getting some feedback and listening to the notes from November, when that gets opened up, we'll take a look at it. The specifics of what we wanted to look at was in the category of treatment, which is on page 3. Sorry, Dan, it's a Word document, not a PDF. I'm sorry. Could you scroll down to page 3? Well, you'll see. Keep one more page down. There we go. How it read in MSB for that MSBA policy, how it read, that red portion there where it talks about treatment, that's what was in our policy. After listening and kind of thinking through, like I said, getting your guys' feedback on it, we want to look at changing that from a treatment portion to rehabilitation. And in that phrasing there, some of these things we're already doing. If an employee comes to us, has a problem, we're going to use what's called a compliance agreement to work with them. It's basically taking what we're already doing and putting our practice into policy.
Called what? I'm sorry. What was it called?
A compliance agreement.
Oh,
Yep. Okay. So it's just putting it in here, and really it's making very clear that the district is not taking on any financial obligation to help support that employee. We wanted to make sure that that was clear because I think that was a little muddied in that treatment category. And and we're here, we want to take care of our employees. We want to help support them in times that are tough, instead of just saying, here's a pamphlet, get on your way. That's not what we need to do. We need to take care of people. So that's what the aim of this is. So I just ask that you guys, if you deem fit, make a motion to approve. It's my recommendation.
I have a question.
Questions? Yeah.
The last sentence, upon completion of such a program, the employee will be eligible for rehire. So that's a program that takes a long time, so they're.
Yeah, they may have to separate employment because they don't have the leave days or whatever it is. Yep. And it's not
If they do have the leave days though, are they eligible to just take?
So what we would look at is probably if they would qualify for something like FMLA, we would
Oh.
look at something like that for them.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thanks.
Yep. Any other questions?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for working on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the last one for me. So this is a job description, well, last one for tonight. This is the Executive Director of Operations. Thanks, Fitz. This is a new job description. As you know that we're changing that from the Assistant Superintendent of Operations to the Executive Director of Operations. As a result, we've shifted some duties around. So that necessitated creating a new job description. So that's what you see before you there. Any questions?
Can you describe, I like it a lot. Can you describe a little bit about the way the shifting happened? You
Sure.
or
So,
somebody?
I mean, surface level, some of the things that shifted, we had technology move to our CFO. And then we had, I think, security, and as we merged and another job description, which has already existed, but we merged some jobs and we just delineated some duties like safety and security, moved back under our operations here. And I think one of the things that we want to be really clear about with this operations job, as you guys talked about earlier with the roofing and the construction processes, we wanted to make sure that that was very clear in the qualifications, that we had a candidate that is familiar with those processes and understands those processes. So we want to make sure that that was in that job description.
Yay, great.
So
That was a lot all in one before previously. That was a lot of weight and a lot of responsibility. That's good. And it seems like, was it not this one, Dr. Wilson? There was a different one where some things were redistributed and actually one administrative position is streamlined away, doesn't even.
that's correct. Yep. So
Thank you for paying close attention to best use of our resources. our
it's a team
taxpayer
effort,
dollars.
everybody collaborating and working together.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Thank you.
Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the open session minutes from 11/21/2024 discussion.
Dustin, did you get a chance to go back and?
Yeah, so the way I read that, and it was very hard to hear me. Glad I've got a mic. I think everybody can hear me, but on
thank you
the
for getting us all mics.
recording is where it's troublesome. So the motion was to continue to live stream regular meetings and not live stream any of the work sessions. And then Amber seconded that motion with the caveat of also
Haven't been able to make it be pending.
adding archive, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and
Yeah. Right.
yeah, there was a little bit of discussion and then but the actual motion was simply do the normal meetings, not the work sessions, with the caveat.
Live stream and
Okay.
archive the open meetings, but not the work sessions,
I'm sorry.
right? Live stream and archive the open meetings, but not the work.
Correct.
sessions.
Yeah.
So can we make a motion to approve the minutes with that amendment? Oh. Oh, right, but we specifically eliminated work stuff. The regular, did you say regular or open?
I believe that's actually what I said,
You said
was
regular.
just regular meetings.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. Or
So
a regular
let's-
month-to-month
let's-
meeting.
Let's figure out how we want to state it then. It matters. It's our legal document. Right. So I would like for it to say open meetings. But you want it
That's
to
not,
say
wasn't,
regular. You,
that wasn't the motion.
Oh, I
The
thought you were
motion
saying-
was
okay,
regular
good.
monthly meetings.
good.
Yeah.
So let's amend that.
Yeah.
You said regular, so I really feel like we should go with one motion.
Right, what you
Because that's
said.
what was passed.
What
correct.
you said,
Yep.
yeah. I remember that it had those two parts because in my mind, I was like, I want to vote for the first part, but I don't want to vote for the second part about leaving out the work sessions. Yeah.
Okay.
So how, do we need to make an official motion to approve those with that amendment on, it's number 13A, new business discussion of live streaming board meetings with work sessions. They
May,
already fixed it?
can Barbara read it back if it needs
It's
to be
not
read back?
online. Yeah, that's not the right motion. We need, there's no anything about where voting takes place. Oh, so the motion should say motion to continue to live stream and archive regular board meetings, but not work sessions. That's my motion, that we approve those minutes with that amendment. Yes. And then that was a motion. Did you second it, Amber? Okay.
And that's what
Okay, yeah.
All in favor of the correction?
I'd like to add something to that. We don't have to bring it up this time, but something to think about. It's exactly related to this. I was thinking about, we said the reason we did not want to archive, and we did not want to live stream and archive the work sessions was because of the cost of closed captioning them. But what if we just live streamed those and didn't archive them? Then would it still? Because that way, I think, gosh, those work sessions have the best information, and community members could still watch it if they're available to watch it, or they could tune in for little parts of it. I remember the one in May, this past May, there was an agenda and some people were trying to guess, when are they going to talk about the sheriff? Because I want to hear that one. You know, I think if we just live streamed them, then they don't have to be closed captioned because it's just a live stream.
It's not
And then we
88.
don't.
It's not 88.
It doesn't have to be because it's a live stream, and then we don't archive it. For now, it's not, and it's not archived. It doesn't have to be for the live streams. James, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry, I missed what you said. So we can talk about it right now if you want to, or can we put it on next month's agenda to talk about that? Because I realized.
Didn't we
that
just
would've
answer
been a
that
good
with the date of that?
What? I'm sorry.
Didn't we just answer it with the update of that motion?
I think we did.
No, we didn't say we were still gonna live stream them, but not archive them. They had said no live streaming them at all. The motion said no live streaming them at all. Right, James? Is that not what you meant? Are we live streaming the work sessions?
No.
No. James thought we were.
No.
Right, we fixed the minutes. Yeah, it's not again because it's slightly different, but yeah, I understand. Or just have a new, revisit it. That's what I thought. If we could talk about it now, if you want to, that's fine. Or if you want to talk about it next time.
Have to be added to the agenda for next time.
Okay, good deal.
Next is October 24th minutes for discussion.
Those minutes reflect what was on the agenda that we had approved, but then it happened during the meeting, if you'll remember, right when we got in here for the open meeting and we were getting ready to do recognitions or something, and then the board president announced, we're going to move the patron comments to the end of the meeting. And so the minutes need to reflect what actually happened. And I talked to Dr. Wilson about this, and we consulted our legal counsel about this, and she agreed we could just write a little parenthetical expression after that item, patron comments. I think it was number 8, and just put a little parenthetical expression that says, this item was moved to the end of the agenda. Here it is. This item was moved this item was moved during the meeting to follow number 13, new business, and immediately proceed number 14, adjourn meeting. It's in that email discussion that we were having. So I would like to move that we amend those October minutes that have already been approved, but we amend them to accurately reflect on number 8, that we moved the patron comment session to the end of the meeting.
Can we table that so I can actually see and read what you're referring to? I saw part of that, but I would
I
like to
sent
go
it
back.
in the email
Yeah,
last week.
I would like to go back and review that a little bit more.
We have to vote to table it. That's fine.
Yeah, there's nothing listed here to look at.
I sent an email last week. If you guys didn't see it, I don't know.
Yeah, but we need that public record for everyone to see here.
What?
We need that for the public to be able to see for full transparency.
Well, it will. That's what the minutes are. So if we make a motion right now and we vote on it, then it will be in the minutes. It's on the agenda right now, the October 24th minutes. That's why it's on there, is because I wanted to bring up this thing that I emailed you about last week.
I'm not opposed to it. I always thought that if it didn't have a time, that it didn't have to be in sequential order. But I'm not, I mean, if everybody else feels strongly about making it that way, I don't oppose it.
And just to clarify too, Christina, I'm not opposed to it, but I was under the exact same impression. So I got your email. I read part of that. I think I had a follow-up. I think I need a process to see if there's any issue there. But I'm not opposed to that part. I don't think it's tomato in some ways, but I want to make sure before, because I can't see it right here. So I'd rather have access to it and look at, is there anything wrong with pushing that?
I don't mind. We have to vote on doing it next month also. It's, if you look in your email, the lawyer's answer that Dr. Wilson sought out, the lawyer's answer is included at the bottom
We had
of my.
quite a few emails this week to wade through.
It was Sunday, January 12th at 10:07 PM. If you want to look it up right now, you can. Or if you want to table it for next month, we can vote to do that.
Okay, we have a motion on the table. Is there a motion to table?
That's what he said.
I'll make a motion to table, but you guys, I mean, if
Second.
you're,
Motion to table and second by
Wait, the
James.
table to win till next month?
Motion to table this item till next month by Dustin, seconded by James. All in favor of tabling the motion? Any opposed? One.
So I have no idea what this motion is for. So I mean, I'm not going to vote on it if I can't see it in front of me. I don't,
Oh,
yeah,
correct.
I don't know what. it
That's
is
my
you want.
point. I can't see it. I know you want me to go back to email. I'm not going to do that right now. I'll do that in between now and then.
And it's important that everyone else here sees what it is, not our emails.
So you
Yeah.
would, if we, in the conversation part of it, to type in what it was, what we wanted, what it needs to be changed to so that you can see it as you're. that-
That blue part from
Mhm.
Celinda.
Okay.
We can do that.
So we have 4 in favor, 1 opposed. Amber?
One abstention.
Any other items of business? If none, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?